Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, selamat petang. Welcome to the second TeaTalk MCMC for year 2023. For today's session, the TeaTalk session is held to commemorate the International Mobile Phone Recycling Day, the day that was first established by the Jane Goodall Institute and was observed on January 24th since 2017 to encourage people to recycle their unused phones. The initial objective was to raise awareness on the negative impacts of smartphone consumerism on primate wildlife population in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo and other developing countries. On top of the TikTok session, we are also organizing a mobile e-waste collection activity at MCMC Tower 1 lobby today and tomorrow. So without further ado, I'm inviting Mr. Alex Quip from Shampurnamita Sendram Berhad to deliver his presentation entitled Mobile Phone Recycling from E-Waste to Treasure. Guys, let's open up our mind for this TikTok session, and Mr. Alex, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Encik Shamsul. Very good afternoon to all of you in MCMC. I'm honored to be invited to this tea talk at MCMC to share a bit with you on what mobile phone recycling and in general what it is all about in waste recycling and how we actually turn the waste into treasure. Literally, actually, we will show you samples of what we get from waste that we collect. All right. So in the usual or traditional way of thinking of when we use a product, when we use any material that we buy from supermarket or electronics store or whatever, the supply chain ecosystem, it starts off with the raw material, as you can see here. Well, then in the design and manufacturing stage, they will come up with a product which commercial and consumer, what do you call it, for consumer and commercial application. I mean, this is in terms of maybe a laptop computer, tablet or mobile phone, etc. User will normally use it for a few years before this is Microsoft or Apple's trick. Before you suddenly find out you cannot upgrade your OS or you cannot upgrade the software anymore, and they force you to buy a new one. Oops, sorry. So that we call end of life for that device or that thing that you have bought, the product that you have bought. What happens to it traditionally? Before all this became a hot topic, people will normally just put it in the disposal rubbish bin and it goes to the landfill. Today, if you think about it, a lot of this raw material can actually be recovered. So what we normally do, once the material reaches its end of life, end of economic life, it goes through a recycle, recovery, or refining process. And from that, we can actually recover proportion or majority of this material, precious material especially, that was used to actually produce these products itself. So a lot of it will go through a treatment process where we can actually extract and recover this precious material. And of course, there's leftover, which doesn't have any, what do you call it, precious components within it. So the balance of it will still go into the landfill. So not everything can be recovered. A lot of the material, how to say, once it's used, it doesn't have a second recycling purpose again, or it cannot be recycled to be used for another product, or at least not economically lah. So whatever that is left from the recovery or the recycling process, it still goes to the landfill. Now, okay, e-waste, e-waste itself is a waste problem. Now, we go back to the term e-waste. For those who are not familiar with this, e-waste, it actually stands for electronic waste. All right. Now, today, more and more people are having one or two or even three handphones, laptops. Almost everyone, well, in this room, I would say almost everyone would have a laptop. In fact, maybe everyone has a laptop or two. Tablets, you may have one, possibly. So the when all this reaches its end of life, it is then become an e-waste, where you cannot be used for its original purpose anymore. So, and that's when it is called an e-waste. All right. E-waste is becoming a big problem, a big global problem, because more and more people are reliant on their electronic devices. So um, year by year, the amount of e-waste is growing tremendously. And if you imagine, if we do not take care how we dispose of this and actually recover what is in the e-waste, then it's a big waste to us, whereby, for example, if the precious metals and all that gets into the landfill, um, instead of being recovered to be used as raw material for the manufacturing of the new products itself, right? So that's the impact of e-waste if it is not well managed. So in other words, if it's well managed, we can actually get back a lot of the precious metals, precious materials that have been put in to manufacture the product itself. Okay. Okay. If the e-waste is well managed by ESM facilities, when this ESM facility stands for environmentally sound uh, management. So this is a term that is coined by UN to show that whatever how do you say, the process of the manufacturing to the end of life uh, is well managed in terms of environmental, in terms of the environment. All right. When we have a closed loop system whereby if you look at this diagram here, basically, well, if you follow the arrows around, you can actually see a loop. What happens is from the waste itself, it goes through the process of the recovery, and at the end of the recovery process is actually the raw material which goes back into the industry, which manufacture new products and all that. So in this in fact is termed as a circular economy, where it goes round from the, well, from the end of life product, it goes to a refresh raw material where we are using that recovered material to make new products. So circular economy, that's what it's called. Now, in terms of what we can actually get from the waste, all right. So this table on the top right shows the zero depletion of natural resources. In terms of the number of phones and all that, that goes to, how to say, that goes to become e-waste, and what we can actually recover from the what do you call it, the mobile phones, the PC, laptops, and we compare it to what is what is being dug out from the ground. All right. So what we actually can recover from the waste in terms of the percentage of what is being mined and dug up from the ground in the world mine production. So, and in terms of greenhouse gases as well. All right, what how well the amount of carbon footprint that is safe if we actually recover the material from the waste instead of going to mine it from the ground. All right, so these two tables are actually reflective of the amount. A bit more detail now. The impact of handphones and PCs on metal demand based on global sales in 2007. This is a 2007 figure. So today, to 2023, I'm sure it's much more than that. All right. So if looking at a sample size, if we have 1,200 million units of handphone, all right, each handphone we can actually recover about 250 milligram of Ag. Ag is silver. That's the what do you call it? The code for the metal in the periodic table. Ag is silver. Au is gold. Oops, sorry. Pd is palladium. Cd is copper. So if you look at, well, of course, this number is very large, like 1,200 million units of phones, all right? We can actually recover about 300 tons of silver, 29 tons of gold, 11 tons of palladium, and 11,000 tons of copper. All right. I mean, it looks very huge amount here, but you just imagine 1,200 million units of phone. So that's also a very large number. All right. So for PC and laptop, to give you an idea, all right, how much precious metals there are in the when you can actually collect 1,200 million units of handphone, and for the example here, 255 million units of PCs and laptops. All right. For that amount of laptops and PCs, we can actually get 255 tons of silver. All right, 56 tons of gold, 20 tons of palladium, and 128,000 tons of copper. All right. So yeah, and sorry, I actually missed out the numbers for the cobalt. Now, when you look at lithium-ion batteries and all that, there are actually well, in lithium-ion, the most valuable material, or the most valuable precious metal inside the lithium ion battery is actually the cobalt itself. That's the most valuable part. So again, from 1,200 million units of phones, we can actually get about 4,500 tons of cobalt. and from 255 million units of the PCs and laptops, we can get 6,500 tons of cobalt. Now, so you can imagine if we do not have this recycling process and all that, all this actually goes into the landfill. All right, number one. Number two, if we can recover all this as much as possible or as close as possible to 100% of this, you imagine the amount of mining activities that can be reduced. That will actually help the environment as well, because naturally, when you go and mine something from the ground, it indirectly or even directly actually destroys or pollutes the environment. All right. Okay. So looking at this, well, if you look at well, of course, this is based on 2022 market prices. So the amount or these are the value in terms of ringgit Malaysia. If we get to recover all this material, that's how much the value is. All right. So based on the amount that was stated in the table up there, um, we can possibly get up to 13 billion just worth of raw materials at, itself, if we can have access to all this material to recycle. All right. So then again, I mean, compared to what is being mined, if you look at the total amount of silver, if the amount that is being mined in 1 year is actually about 20,000 tons. So what we can actually recover from the e-waste is only about 3%. Actually, it's still just a fraction of what is being mined. But I mean, it's still, if we can reduce any amount of mining out there, that will actually help the environment a lot. All right. Okay. Now, is Malaysia infrastructure ready? Um, a lot of people say, well, Malaysia is a bit behind Japan or wherever when it comes to recycling and all that. Well, in terms of, we have a very different culture and system altogether. But in terms of efforts that were being carried out by DOE, number one, and as well as some companies such as Champonam, our company, we have actually put in a lot of money, expenditure, capex expenditure, and all that to we have actually put in a lot of capex expenditure to bring in technology that we need to actually do good recycling and recovery processes. So integrated environment sound management, plant, all right, protecting intellectual property rights, promoting a closed loop supply chain, and using green technology. This is what Champonam has been trying to achieve for the last many years, and would be proud to say that I think we have a good infrastructure in Malaysia. We are one of the few companies that have such capabilities and first of all, the ability and also the capability to actually do an environment in an integrated environment sound management facility. All right. In terms of e-waste, when we look at one example, the hard disk, we do get a lot of this e-waste material, and one of the items that we get, we use this as an example for the hard disk. We have asset recovery services or and e-waste recycling. Now, what does that mean? Some of our customers, when they scrap their e-waste, they will allow us to refurbish and resell the material. Some may have very sensitive data inside their data storage devices, which they will require us to go through a data wiping process, a strict data wiping process, I might say, to ensure that the data is no longer on the data storage device anymore. All right. Oops. So our specialty, Shampunam, we have reverse logistic, IT asset management, and asset recovery. Our strategy the strategy that we use is to, as far as possible, if the customer allows, is to reuse the what do you call it, the IT assets, so that I mean, we can actually refurbish it and sell it to the commercial or the public to reuse again. All right. And of course, there are certain IT assets which will has gone faulty or is beyond repair and all that. For those, we actually bring put it into the recycling and recovery process. That means we will break it down and we will actually extract out the precious metals from that. All right. All right. I mentioned just now, customers, when we reuse the IT assets that we collect from the customers, we actually go through a very advanced data wiping process. And we use this software algorithm, which is from Blanco. All right. We can actually provide the data wiping services on site, witnessed by the customer. Some customers will want to witness the data wiping process. And in the process, the data wiping software algorithm actually generates out a certificate, which actually certifies that whatever data previously was on the device is no longer recoverable, or how to say, or can be obtained by any other party. All right. Now, should the device be faulty beyond use, that means you cannot even turn on the laptop or computer, it will the hard disk will actually be removed from the main chassis of the laptop or desktop computer, and it will actually be put into a degaussing machine. All right, you think of it, this degaussing machine, you think of it as a microwave machine. Literally, it goes in, the hard disk is technically cooked, and it will, once the process finish, which only takes about 2 or 3 seconds, the whole device will be rendered beyond usable. Nothing can be recovered, or nothing can be no data will be on the hard disk anymore. So everything literally is wiped out, including it. The whole hard disk is even all the chips are so-called, all the integrated circuits are fried, we call it. So the whole thing is not usable anymore. So that's the degaussing machine. So degaussing is actually what do you call it? A terminology that is used to how to say to bombard the device with a high microwave or magnetic beam. So that actually destroys the device itself. So once the device is degaussed, we will then provide a certificate of destruction to actually certify that we have actually gone through the destruction for that hard drive. So this is how we actually protect the intellectual rights, intellectual property rights, and also to ensure that we have a record either from the Blanco software or the algorithm or the certificate of destruction from our company. So
Ah, tadi. Oh, ya ke? Okey, okey. Sorry, sorry. Kenapa?
okay, sorry. The unique thing about this, we actually can do this data wiping in the customer's premises using we call it a Husky, HASP, okay, which is this device here. It's no more. It actually is like a thumb drive, which has the software algorithm itself together with the license numbers uh, in the in this USB thumb drive. All right. So if we were to do the that is to do the data wiping one at a time, all right, for each individual hard drive. So if we have server farms, for those who are familiar with data centers, server farms, you probably have hundreds of hard drive, all right. So what we use is a data wipe machine whereby we can actually process multiple hard drives. I think up to maximum of, if I'm not mistaken, possibly up to 48 units at one single time. So we can actually do multiple in parallel, data wiping in parallel. Okay. Likewise, for those that the hard drive that can be powered on, all right, the Blanco will actually provide the certificate. For those that cannot be powered on, we will go through the degaussing process. All right. Okay. HHEW, or the term that is used by DOE, household e-waste, reduce and reuse. All right. Now, extending the life of lifespan of household e-waste for reduce. All right. We have incoming, QC, data removal, repair center, and basically when we want to reduce the how to say, the e-waste, what we should try to achieve is to have the device reused by the, so extending the use life of the mobile device, the laptop, PC, or handphone itself. For those that cannot be refurbished and all that, it will go through the recovery, salvaging, and well, basically the recovery process and all that lah. Now, mind you, well, so far the most of the phones that we've collected from all this KITA program and all that, I think what we discovered is they're very, very old models, so they're actually beyond reuse. So all phones that we have collected so far from the KITA program, we have always actually put it into the recycling or recovery process. All right. Now, to share with you a bit on what technology we have actually implemented. This recovery PCBA recovery plant, we actually installed it about we completed the installation about 2 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, and it's what do you call it? It's the nickname for this, or what our company calls this, is SWARNA, SWARNA. Okay, well, that actually is just the name doesn't tally much with the technology that is being used. What you see here is actually a furnace whereby we will actually, how to say, after sorting out the PCBA, we will actually put the PCBA into the furnace where they will use, well, it will burn, and the technology will allow us to actually extract, after the process, to extract out the different parts of metals, i.e. the gold, the copper, and other precious metal from the leftover after the burning process. Now, this technology, you may think, oh, you're burning it, so what happens to it? I mean, it actually uses a very how do you say, state-of-the-art technology, which is in fact recommended by the United Nations Environment Program. This is a German technology whereby it uses renewable energy with clean gas system, and the effluent and all that, of course, is governed by DOE standards. So whatever smoke or gas that comes out, of course, is filtered, processed before it's actually released out. All right. Well, again, this machine is installed in our HQ in Penang. Right. Okay. A bit about the process, how this works. The PCBA that is recovered from, for example, our laptops, handphones, and all that, goes into the furnace. From the furnace, we can actually get what do you call it? These are all cathodes. Sorry, these are all copper plates which are unrefined. Then it's actually going. It will actually be put through a refining process, whereby once this is done, the copper, what do you call it? The copper is 99.95% pure. All right. And from there, the leftover from this process, it goes through what we call a PGM, platinum group metal refining, whereby from this is actually a mixture of chemical as well as what do you call it, furnace kind of process. The leftover from this product, from this process, we will actually get 99.9% of silver purity, the gold, which is 99.99% purity, palladium, which is 99.9% purity, and lastly platinum, which is 99.9%. I mean, to you all, maybe this doesn't mean much, but of course, these are, again, what we gather here becomes raw material for industries, which are, again, this is what I said earlier, which are then used to manufacture new material or products. All right. So in the process that of our recovery process, as well as some of the waste that the other types of waste that we collect from industries and all that, especially for companies like semiconductor manufacturing companies, we get a lot of acid, alkaline, and also sludge waste. All right. So what happens to those? Those needs to be processed. Well, I would call. I mean, they need to be treated. They need to be filtered, and finally, they need to be made clean enough or pure enough so that it can either be released back to the environment or for whatever leftovers that cannot be processed, it will be disposed to DOE. All right. To quality alarm. Yeah. Waste water treatment plant. So what I said just now, or the liquid that comes after being treated and all that, if it's clean enough and all that, then that will be disposed or that will be released to the environment. If not, it will be disposed at quality alarm. So on a daily basis, we treat about 360 metric tons a day of this wastewater. All right. Again, the wastewater that comes from industries such as semiconductor manufacturing plants. Air pollution, what I described earlier, we do use furnace and all that to actually process or process our PCBAs. And also we have furnaces whereby we produce aluminium ingots and all that. So all this, the air is actually being controlled or cleaned by this air pollution control system. So again, all this, everything that you are seeing now is all in Penang itself. All right. And another picture of our wastewater treatment plant. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I talked about the circular economy earlier. And this is actually a blown up picture of what happens to, for example, the product that we collect or the waste that we collect. This is PCBA in this example. Okay, so the picture actually shows the circular economy for scheduled waste. And from the PCBA, after being collected, it will be shipped to our prescribed premises in Shamponam Metals in Penang. There's a lot of manual labor that is involved. We have to actually segregate, dismantle. You see the handphones and the hard disk display on the table there. It is, when it gets to Shampunam, it is in the one-piece form. So it goes through the dismantling line, whereby it's quite manual intensive, whereby a lot of people will dismantle, take it apart and actually segregate to, for example, PCBA, the silver components, the waste components, the plastic components, and etc. So it goes through many processes, all right, before it is finally turned into gold, silver, or palladium, all right, or aluminium as well. So that's, I mean, that's, how do you say, it's probably, well, it's not as simple as, just from one step to another. So there's multiple steps before it becomes the raw product that we can reuse it for the industries again. This is for another example on the chemical or the liquid waste that we collect, whereby it's transported by a tanker and goes through multiple processes before it actually we can extract out the precious metals as well as the so that we can process it to the raw materials to use for the industries again. All right, so what do we need from stakeholders? Of course, we want the manufacturing facilities to buy green, start qualifying suppliers, supplying raw recycled material, and also start treating recyclers as their raw material supply chain partners. All right, they can start buying recycled metals, recycled raw materials from recyclers like us. All right, and I think we need to relook at how we actually do the supply chain. Okay, we need to have to ensure that materials to ensure that materials that we use are green and recyclable and all that. All right. Okay. Just a little bit. This is a short video of our what do you call it? Our corporate video. I'll just show you. So please enjoy.
If we continue to strip the earth of its 6 finite resources, it is threatening our very existence.
Sorry.
If we continue to strip the earth of its 6 finite resources, it is threatening our very existence. Yet there is a simple solution. The 7th resource: recycling or urban mining. Shanpurnam Metals is the pioneer and leader in hazardous waste management. Incorporated in 1960, it started as a waste collection center and has today grown to become the regional leader in industrial hazardous waste with environmentally sound management facilities. Shanpurnam Group of Companies is an associate company of Senviro, which Khazanah Nasional wholly owns. The group has invested over 130 million ringgit with facilities in East and West Malaysia and employs some 500 well-trained and dedicated personnel with comprehensive expertise in the industry. Its waste management strategy is driven by the 5 R's green concept: reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and refining. Due to the modernization, recycling and recovery are directly related to customers' asset management and IP protection. With that in mind, we set up stringent security protocol to follow the authorized route using dedicated trucks with GPS, which adopts a geofencing system with real-time tracking. Security Seals management system is in place. Security seals are verified against shipping documents before breaking of seals by security. Scraps with IP protection such as hard disk drive, PCBA, integrated circuits, and other e-waste may go through scanning, demanufacturing process that includes data wiping, crushing, and smelting. Inline process samplings are also performed for analysis and benchmarking against actual value. It subsequently undergoes pyrometallurgy using state-of-the-art top submerged lance furnace with SCADA technology, which is the technology of choice for optimal recovery above 99%. At the copper refinery, copper cathodes with 99.98% purity are produced through the electrolysis process. Also, by adopting the hydrometallurgy process using customized equipment, we optimally recover platinum group metals, that is, gold, platinum, palladium, and silver, up to 99.99% purity. Shanpurnam is the first prescribed premises licensed by DOE to manage metal chips and articles contaminated with spent coolant under Schedule Waste Code 422. Our patented furnaces with auto-stacking machine are used to manufacture high-grade RoHS-compliant secondary aluminium ingot, which meets international standards and is backed by the Air Pollution Control System. These eco-labeled ingots are then supplied to automotive, oil and gas, medical, and hard disk drive industries. The electronic and related industry generates enormous volumes of sludge, acid, alkaline, and solvent. This toxic and hazardous waste is well managed in Shanpurnam by its high technology and specially trained human resources and transported using specially designed tankers. Distillation, electrolytic, ion exchange, chemical polishing, and precipitation are used for recovery processes. Its residual waste is subsequently treated in its integrated wastewater treatment plant. Recognizing people are our greatest asset, we envision investing our profit into training. Shanpurnam's R&D team is blended with top chemists, engineers, and environmental health and safety personnel who consistently strive for continuous improvements. Its state-of-the-art lab facilities meticulously analyze end products to ascertain they effectively meet customers' and industry's expectations and standards. Shanpurnam's environmentally friendly manufacturing practice and high quality control standards have earned its certification in ISO 14001, ISO 9001, ISO 45001, TAPA Certificate for Security Requirement, and TAPA Trucking Security Requirement. Its total commitment towards continuous improvement in environmental protection and conservation using advanced green technology, producing green products, promoting circular economy, has been recognized with the highest award in the country, namely the Prime Minister's Hibiscus Award for both the Environmental Performance and Special Project category on Environment and the MITI Industrial Excellence Award. Shanpurnam Metals Sendirian Berhad, your partner of choice in hazardous waste management. ENS, Environment, Nature, Society. Together we progress towards a cleaner, safer, and greener world.
Okay. Hope you enjoyed our corporate video. All those that you see, the manufacturing plant and the equipment and technology and all that, that's all in Penang. All right, it's all Malaysia. A lot of people do not realize that Malaysia has such technology or capability, but we actually do. All right. Okay, thank you very much. I think before that, is there any questions? I think if even if you don't get to ask now, you can actually drop a question through Encik Shamsul. We can actually respond at a later time, or if you have any questions that you think of later. All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex, for such a valuable input. I believe most of us here discovered new knowledge from this presentation today. All right, so before we end our session, let's have some quiz session. This is not to gauge your knowledge, but rather to reward you on your attention towards the presentation today. Okay, so for this quiz, KMRC has prepared some rewards for the winners of the quiz, and the winners shall meet the KMRC team after we have end our session today. All right, for the first question, this is open to the online participant as well. For the first question, bukan Kahoot. Bukan Kahoot. Kita live punya question. Okay, so siapa nak jawab boleh terus jawab. So siapa cepat dapat, first come first serve. So what is the term used to describe recycling activities that is meant to reduce the mining of resources from the land? Nak ABC ke? Okay, A, land mining, B, sea mining, C, urban mining, D, rural mining. I don't know, A salah, C betul. Yang jawab C betul. Jejaka berbaju putih. Nombor staff 1114. Okay. Next question. Yeah. Okay. Soalan kedua ni bonus question lah, very easy. Salah. Okay. Okay, soalan kedua. What does the E in the e-waste stands for? Saya tahu judges kat sana Okay, minta maaf salah. Tapi kita bagi point untuk kegigihan tu Tapi kat sini dah jawab elektronik tadi saya dengar. Jejaka nombor staff 773. Okay, boleh? Okay, next question. Name the SW code for the e-waste that DOE regulates. Name the SW code for the e-waste that DOE regulate. Betul. Berapa? ID berapa ID? 709. Alright, next question. Dah berapa dah? Lagi 2. Okay. Name one method for guaranteed data destruction for a hard disk drive. One method for guaranteed data destruction for hard disk drive. Betul. ID number 1189. Okay, last question. Ini senang, Google pun dah dapat. Okay. What is the 5R as presented just now? The 5R as presented just now. Apa dia? Bangun. Just recycle. Tak apa, tak ikut turutan. Reduce, recycle, refine. Recover. Baru 4. Ketet. Next. Online dulu. The first one apa? Salah Salah kan? Salah. Gadis berbaju merah. Reduce. Apa? Tak, saya tak dengar dulu. Okay, ID number. Time ni dah nak bagi famous ID number. 1138. Alright, so thank you for your cooperation today. Untuk next kita ada e-waste collection activity. Masih ada kuota untuk e-wallet credit for everyone yang bring mobile phone sekali